All right, let's try this again. Good afternoon. I was pulling a prop the other day and thought it might be helpful if I did a video for other divers interested in getting into my line of work to learn a little bit about some prop pullers. All right, I'm trying to get this stand to hold. The first one that I like to use the most is called a pinch puller, or I've heard it called an A-frame puller. It's adjustable in two places, well, three actually, because you can pull this pin out and move it for different size prop hubs. And once you get it close, you can fine tune it with this little screw thing to tighten it up. This will go on the back of the prop, and this will go on the shaft after you've removed the nuts and everything like that. And then you crank on this end, pulling this out, and it slowly pinches and puts pressure until the prop pops off. When they pop, it usually does just that, a good loud pop. This one works great for smaller props. All right, I think I've done up to 1.5 inch shaft with it. It's pretty handy. It's the easiest one to use. This is called a cage puller. All right. The way it'll work is I slide this over the back, and I have several different sizes of this. That'll go on the back of the prop. This is on the front. I slide these bolts between the blades and hook them in. They don't stay in place if you don't have tension on them very good. Once they're all in place and the blades are usually between the bolts, I tighten up on the nuts until once again it pops loose. Those are my preferred two pullers to use. However, they have one shortcoming, and that is you have to have a gap between the props, blades. If the blades overlap, you can't get between them. When that happens, I have to use the chain puller. A lot of the chain puller is kind of a homemade deal. Has the end just like the other, and the bolt. The difference is it is flexible with the chain. You pull it around, you'll either hook it on the back of the blade, or you have to go all the way around and hook it on the front of the blade, depending on how it has to sit up. Then you slowly tighten them up, going around until it slowly pops off. This one's a little awkward when you're in the water because everything is moving and it'll get tangled up with each other. But if you're a recreational diver thinking about moving into some professional work, this would be handy, because first time I was asked to pull a prop, I was totally in the dark about it. Like, do I need a puller sometime? Luckily, I had already picked up one of these. I just happened to find it somewhere. I said, ooh, I better have that. I might need it. And it was a good save. Luckily, it was one that one would pull. So, that went a lot quicker than I thought it would. I thought I could talk a little longer. A lot of the pullers, this and the cage puller, you'll see how they're beat up on the end. That's because you get it as tight as you can and it ain't come loose yet, so you start beating the hell out of it with a hammer. Sometimes with this puller, you can't beat on it, but I'll take a little brass hammer and do a quick little pop on the side of the hub to create some vibration to help it pop loose. You want to use a brass hammer on a brass prop. They also make prop knockers that you screw onto the shaft like a big nut that's got a large thing that you can beat the hell out of. I've never really used them. I have some that I picked up from when other divers were going out of business. Like I said, I thought that was something I could talk about a little longer than just 2 minutes or 5 minutes. I hope somebody finds this helpful and useful. The only reason I did it as a live because I'm too lazy to do any editing right now. I'm having problems with my free editing program. And if you are thinking about getting into the boat cleaning business and doing props and changing zincs and everything, good luck to you. And if you can contact me with any questions, I'll be willing to help in any way that I can with advice. Not really a lot to it. I tell people all the time, you don't have to be a mechanic to wash a car, so you don't really have to be a boat mechanic either, just scrape barnacles. Pulling props is about the most complicated thing I do. Some zincs, when I change them, can be a little bit of a pain. Some of the transom zincs, if the stud tries to screw out of the hull, that's not good. But like I said, most of it's pretty simple and straightforward. Hope you found this information useful, and have a nice day. Oh, hey, I got somebody asking a question. Trigger Thrills. Yeah, you're trying to get into mechanics too? Well, like I said, anything I could do to help, I would be happy to answer. I don't know the basics of everything, but I've been cleaning boats full time for about 5 years now. Lauren, Big Mama, hello. All right, Trigger Thrills, you're welcome. Trigger Thrills, that sounds like me and you might get along real good. I pull a trigger from time to time. Well, thanks for joining me, and hope this was useful. Everybody take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time I think of something to talk about. Now I got to figure out how to stop it. I'm just going to hit close.